The views and opinions expressed in the Golden Boot podcast are those of the speaker and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of the Golden Boot podcast as a whole.
Y'all ready to get rolling? Quiet on the set. Hey, they call me Pooh Bear, and I'll punish you. You and my people, we ain't eking. You ain't one of it. Boy, welcome to another episode of HBCU. It's your boy Pooh Bear. Got my man Aunt Petty Murphy in the building. What's good, my boy?
Man, you know me.
Oh man, you
just chilling, man. Just chilling.
You have to send me one of them cups, man. But
I'll wait till I pour that tea in there and then send you one.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Man, I've been looking forward to this one. Man. We posted the list and people went wild. We've been called.
I'm even mad at the list.
Yeah. We're gonna get to it, man. It's some stuff on there that you know what I'm saying, we're gonna get to it. We're gonna talk about that, man. But first, man, I do want to say, man, shout out to them Mariners, man. Not the Seattle Mariners, but my little boy team. They going to the ship. Congratulations to them.
Yes, sir. Good stuff, my boy Dilly Max Hayes and his squad.
Yeah, he had a pretty good game, man. The whole team as a whole did really well. Proud of them, man. Looking forward to seeing them on Tuesday, since Monday is Memorial Day. But But man, we here for some business, man. We got some things to talk about. So I guess we can go ahead and get into it. But first, man, we gotta give a shout out to our sponsors over at betonline.ag. We'll be back in 1 minute. BetOnline.ag is your number one source for all your sports information, stats, news, and scores. Get the latest odds, lines, and player injury reports for this year's NBA and NHL playoffs. BetOnline is always your sports information headquarters. This season, we have you covered for all your sports wagering needs. We have everything from NBA, NFL, MLB, and NHL to golf, tennis, UFC, and boxing. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to get your betting info, including live betting options and your favorite casino and card games that you can play right from your home. Head on over to betonline.ag today or use your mobile device to get in on the action. Be sure to use the promo code BLEAV to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, where the game starts. Yeah, and we are back, man. I'm trying to find what I need. Well, I'm looking. I ain't got it on here. I got that. Yeah, it is.
Round one, fight. Round one, fight. Round one, fight.
Hey, bro.
There you go.
You're trying to get that point across, huh?
Hey, it was stuck on loop. But man, let's start here, man. Let's talk about this list, man. Let me ask this first question.
Mm-hmm.
What was your mindset going into the list? How did you come up with your so okay, for those of you watching HBCU, we did a HBCU top 10 quarterback list. I guess we can go ahead and show the list first. Ant, your list. I'll let you read off.
I don't like my list. So can I read it the way it was actually supposed to be done and not the way I messed it up? Since I was on my glaucoma medication when I made my list. Because it's two people that's supposed to be swapped.
Okay. All
right, so number 1, Tavares Jackson. Number 2, Bruce Eugene. Number 3, Amir Hall. Number 4, Lamar Raynard. Number 5, Akil Glass. Number 6 should be Devontae Kincaid. Number 7, Cam Smith. Number 8, Robert Kent. number 9, Darnell Kennedy, and number 10 should be Davius Richard.
Okay. All right. So this is my list. This is how I did it. And I'm gonna stick by it for now, but we're gonna talk about it later. Number 1, Akil Glass. 2, Tavares Jackson. 3, Bruce Eugene. Number 4, Lamar Reynard. Number 5, Amir Hall. Number 6, Devontae Kincaid. Number 7, Cam Smith. Number 8, Greg McGee. Number 9, Darnell Kennedy. And number 10, Robert Kent. So let's go back to what we was talking about, man. So what was your mindset when you made your list? How did you think? Because again, for the folks in the audience, we just said, hey, let's do a top 10 quarterbacks, HBCU quarterbacks from 2000, since 2000.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't lay down any criteria.
Nope.
It was just like, you make your list, I'm gonna make mine.
And see, that part about we didn't really lay down no criteria is why Davius Richard made my list.
Yeah,
I didn't know that you really was meaning no active players, so that I take that one. Yeah, but and my criteria was mostly obviously the stats and the wins and what you did on the field, but also the eye test and kind of the impact that you left.
Gotcha.
And not just necessarily what happened between the lines, but kind of how you have been remembered, you know what I'm saying, since history has, moved on after you, in a sense.
All right.
And so that's why, you go ahead.
No, go ahead, finish.
I about to say that's why some people aren't on the list, maybe because they had stats, but they didn't necessarily have the wins or accolades, or maybe they had the accolades, but they didn't have necessarily the stats to go with it. So it ain't just just numbers or just eye tests. It was a combination of both, plus like I said, the impact and the legacy in the sense that you left.
Yeah. So my mindset, the reason why I didn't put active players, because if I had did active players, it's 2 names that I would have put on there. But the reason why I didn't do it, because I think it's not fair to them, because they're still building.
That's fair.
Their legacy. That's the only reason I didn't do active players. But my mindset going into it, I'm gonna give you a good analogy. And if you go to a restaurant, right? You might look at the menu 2 ways. You might look at the menu. You might look at how much something costs. Like, I don't think that's worth it. Or you may look at it like, how many calories in this? Or you may say, what are the ingredients? Or you might look at a picture and be like, that look good. It might not have the numbers I want, the calories I want, but I know it look good.
It pleases your eye. Yeah.
It pleases your eye. That was my mindset going into it. First thing I did when I made my list, I was like, off the top of my head, what's the first names I think about when I think of top HBC quarterbacks? And boom, them first names popped in my head. I wrote them down. They weren't necessarily in order, but I wrote them down. Boom, boom, boom. And then I was like, all right, let me look. Now let me look and see numbers wise who did what, saying, let me look up some things, oh, okay, I see this person had this one, let me look what they did. Okay, that's okay, all right, let me write that down. Boom, boom, boom. So that was my mindset going into it. Now let me ask you this, because we did a top 10, but when we posted it, people came out with 30 or 40 different names.
Yeah, it's 10 people, bro. Somebody's gonna get left off.
It's hard to, add people. But let me ask you this, because one thing I will say, just because your list is, a person that listening on that list, we're not, and the top 10, I didn't necessarily look at it like this player is better than this one. This one is, saying I did, to an extent, but it wasn't like, oh, this person ain't good enough to be up there. So with that being said, there are some honorable mentions.
For sure. Definitely. You can't narrow it down to just 10 people and say it's cut and dry these 10.
Right.
So you got some people who I had right outside of mine. Felix Harper, Ryan Stanley from FAMU.
Right, I had Ryan Stanley on mine.
Pootie Carter. Like there was a few guys who was right. if I would have did my list another day, they might would have made it. You know what I mean? It's just kind of they right there neck and neck. You picking hairs whenever you discussing guys of this caliber.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of some other names. People kept bringing up Casey.
Terry
Terry from Jackson State. He wasn't on my list. He wasn't necessarily an honorable mention, but you know what I'm saying, looking at it, he's very deserving. He just wasn't on my list.
He was an honorable. I mean, he was in consideration. I ain't gonna say I put him as an honorable mention, but he was in consideration for sure. He right there in that mix with those guys I said were honorable mentions.
Yeah,
I mean, there's so many guys you can bring. Go ahead, my bad.
I was gonna say Duhart from I forget where he's from. I want to say Southern. But that was another name that popped up as an honorable mention. But it was I do want to say this because this is I could take criticism. I don't necessarily like it. I could be petty with them with most people. But there was one comment that oh yeah, I definitely I put the petty.
They called me Petty Murphy, but
listen, you've met Rev, you know what I'm saying, talk to him, you know, so on here and stuff and on the phone. Rev kind of petty. My mama extra petty.
Don't fall far from the tree. Huh?
My mama extra petty. I get all that from her. But it was a comment that was why did y'all slight Casey Terrell? Is it because he's white?
Yeah, I didn't appreciate that one too much.
I didn't appreciate that one because Dad, if you watching, cover years, that's complete bullshit. It had nothing to do with him being white. It had nothing to do with him being at Jackson State. To be honest, it wasn't like I was trying, because that was another thing, not to call out a fan base, but a lot of Jackson State folks felt like we left. The first question was about Shador.
I'll explain my reasoning on that after you finish, but go ahead.
A reason I didn't put Shador on there, again, like I said, I wasn't doing current players. Shador does have the numbers. Shador looks good. And I wish Shador all the best. I do think that, you know what I'm saying, he'll do well in Colorado State. I think he's going to be the only.
The man said Colorado State.
I'm sorry, Colorado. I think he'll be the only, probably one of the only bright spots at Colorado. But with that being said, you know what I'm saying, it had nothing to do with, again, I didn't say, hey, I'm not going to put anybody from this school on there or anything like that. But go ahead, man. You was gonna say something.
All right. So my reasoning for not having Shador on my list, like I said, I looked at the totality of their careers, and he had a great 2-year career. Don't get me wrong; his 2-year career is arguably better than any 2 years that you want to put up against.
Probably arguably better than, it's actually arguably better than some of the 3- and 4-year careers that we have.
I would agree. I would agree. However, if who you taking off my list for him, you see what I'm saying, like. If whoever you want to pick on my list has something that Shador don't have, well, you know, whether it's they have a Celebration Bowl, a Black National Championship, or you know they have more career yards like a Kill Glass does, or they, you know what I mean, they have a bigger body of work statistically. So it's not a slight to him. If he stayed at Jackson State for one more season, you know, he would definitely be on this list because he would have the body of work to compare with everybody else on that list. So I wasn't slighting Shador by any means, but he don't have the body longevity wise that some of these other guys have. And I know Kincaid only had 2 years at Grambling, but Kincaid went undefeated in the SWAC and won the national championship. Shador hadn't. So I mean, you can't. I'm not slighting Shador at all. He was, like I said, his 2 seasons. Either one of them you want to put up there, you can put up against almost anybody on my list for one of their seasons, and it'll probably be better than him. But he only had 2 years. If he would have had a Celebration Bowl win in one of those 2 years, it would change things. But the body of work, longevity-wise, doesn't match up to some of these other people. It's not a slight to him. He just only had 2 years.
That's true. Man, let's go ahead and jump into it, man. Let's go to the list. We can start with your list. I'll let you do your breakdown first here. So here we go. You want to actually you want to bring it up? You want me to go first? Yeah. All right. So boom. I don't know if I need to start at the top or the bottom. So I'll put it like that. I'll start at the bottom and work my way up. Give me 1 second here. Because I had to take notes on these. So Robert Kent from Jackson State. In 45 games, He completed 825 passes. 825 for 1539 passes for 11,797 yards. He had 104 touchdowns, 58 interceptions. He averaged 262 yards per game. Amazing player. Nothing bad with him. It was other players that I looked at and was like, okay, I see, saying I think this person, saying can go a little bit higher for me. My next player, number 9, Darnell Kennedy. Red, affectionately known as Red. First off, Red from the career. He from the 251. He went to my high school. So I knew about Red, saying long before he even made to Alabama State. But he is the school's all-time passing leader with 11,753 yards. He holds the career mark from total offense for 12,888 yards. And he has 4 of the top 5 passing marks in a single season at Alabama State. He threw for 102 career touchdowns. Honestly, I should have had him higher. I didn't want to be too biased. Also, with that said, who do you move down? Who do you change him with? Now, is some people up there, some people look at him and be like, you should have did such and such, but yeah. Let's move on to Greg McGee. Greg McGee from Howard University. He has a career total offense of 10,168 yards. At one time, that was the MEAC record for a career total offense. I don't know if that's still the truth. I mean, if that's still true right now. But also, he had 7,589 yards, 49 touchdowns, and he rushed for 2,579 yards on 535 carries with another 26 touchdowns. So
if that is the record, it won't be for long.
Oh, it won't be. Next on my list is Cam Smith at number 7. So Cam Smith. Let me see if I can find it. Where was it? Cam Smith has 7,540 passing yards. And he has the CIAA record for 96 touchdown passes in just 3 seasons. He also rushed for another 959 yards, putting him just shy of 8,500. So that's why I got Cam Smith there. A lot of people say, actually, Stephen Gaither from HBCU Game Day mentioned that was Shador before Shador. Again, no slight to anybody, but that's what people say he reminded him of. Next up, Devontae Kincaid. He started out at Ole Miss, so I do want to put this out there. That's another thing. It had nothing to do with players who, at least for me, I had nothing against players who started off at PWIs and came to a HBCU. Nor did I look at it in the reverse. I just didn't say or have anybody put down. Now, there is one person that was an honorable mention I forgot to mention, and that longevity came into mind with him. Kalen, what's your boy from
Kalen Newton.
Kalen Newton. Probably one of the biggest upsets in HBCU history.
Yep. Just wasn't there long enough.
He wasn't there long enough. So, but anyway, getting back to Kincaid. In Kincaid's 2 years at Graham, 25 games, he had 500 and I'm trying to make sure I read this right. My doggone list got cut off. Hold on, man. Let me see if I can find my list. I think he had over 5,000 yards. I can't even find it. My list got cut off. Nope. I know what that is. That's his rushing. His rushing yards. I'm sorry. His rushing yards. He had 512 career rushing yards with 10 touchdowns. Let me find his passing yards. His passing yards. I have to come back to that. But reason why he's on my list and he's probably too low. when you the only SWAC quarterback to win a Celebration Bowl, you got to be on this list. You got to be on this list. All right. Next up is Mr. Amir Hall. Now, Amir Hall, in 3 seasons, he had 7,206 passing yards, 71 touchdowns. He also had 686 rushing yards with 18 touchdowns. He even had 1 reception in there. So, yeah, total offense, man, this dude was good, man. Damn good. So it was hard for me to look at him and say, nah, I'm gonna leave him off this list. Now, Lamar Raynard from North Carolina A&T, or that school down the road, as Josh likes to affectionately call him. Mr. Raynard, although his numbers weren't all that, he had 31 games, 25 starts. But he threw for a career of 5,053 yards, had 48 touchdowns, 14 interceptions. The biggest thing about him, he won 2 Celebration Bowls.
And the wins he had over FCS.
And FBS, yeah.
That's what my bad. You know what I mean.
The wins he had at FBS. Can't leave him off. Now, Bruce Eugene at 3. A lot of people had problems with this, and I'm be honest with you.
Yes, we do have problems with this.
I'm be honest with you. I got a problem with it myself. Going back and looking at it, thinking about it, hearing some more stuff. It was some stats I knew and stuff, and then I forgot and left off. So, okay, there you go. Kincaid, to get back to him, 5,901 passing yards, 53 touchdowns. But Bruce Eugene had 13,000 passing yards.
Mm-hmm.
He also had hold on, because I gotta pull it up here somewhere.
130 touchdowns.
130. Is it 130?
I thought it was. I could be wrong though.
But he had 4 SWAC titles. 4 of them things.
Mm-hmm.
Let me go ahead and say this publicly. Mr. Bruce Eugene, I apologize. I'll tell you where I think you should have been, where I should have put you, but we'll get there. Number 2, Tavares Jackson. Somebody actually hit me up about that. Tavares Jackson never threw for over 200. I forget what he never threw. He only never threw for over 2,600. That's not true. Tavares Jackson had over 20. He threw for, I think, 7,000 yards total in 3 years. Forget the touchdown count. But the one thing that stands out about Tavares Jackson is the last HBCU quarterback to be drafted. That holds some weight. Now, does it hold number 2 spot weight? We'll talk about that again when I get, at the end, because we're going to talk about, where did we miss and what will we change. Now, Akil Glass, that was another one. People talked about, hey, he ain't that, so I heard he's not that good, or he's, you got him too high. I'll say this. Recency and regional bias did play a part in this. It wasn't intentional, but it did play a part in this. But let me say this about Akil Glass. Akil Glass has 12,136 passing yards. 2020, the COVID season, the season that everybody likes to pick at, but that's the only time they can win. He threw for 1,355 yards. I'll say this. He only played 4 games. If he plays if that's a full season, matter of fact, he plays two or three more games that didn't get canceled, he may have numbers more than Bruce. He don't have the SWAC championships more than Bruce Eugene, but he at least has the numbers. He has. I probably have a little bit more leg to stand on. People give me a little bit more. Give me a little bit more credit for that. But he had 109 touchdowns, 41 interceptions. So that's my list. That's why I picked him. Like I said, I'll tell y'all because there's some things I would change about this. So, but I'll let you go ahead. Let me bring up your list.
All right. So once again, for those who late, I don't know how it happened, but Devontae Kincaid and Davis Richard are supposed to be swapped on this list. Devontae Kincaid is supposed to be number 6, not number 10. So my apologies, Mr. Kincaid. But my reason for putting Davis Richard on this list is I know his career isn't over yet. Very true. But he has if I'm not mistaken, he's number 2 in the MEAC right now in total yards.
I believe you are correct, sir.
Yes, and he had 78 total touchdowns or something like that. So by the time it's all said and done, I believe, and not to mention the national championship that he has. So when it's all said and done, I think he will have solidified himself at number 10. You made the case for Red already, and Robert Kent, Cam Smith, like you mentioned, he was Shador before Shador, but I will mention that he just did it for more than 2 years, which, like I mentioned, was the reason why Shador is not on my list. It's not because of his skills or what he did, his statistics or nothing like that. It was just he didn't do it for long enough, in my opinion. Devontae Kincaid at number 6, where he should be on my list. Probably too low, I'll admit. I admit I didn't want to be too Grambling biased, but when you look at what he did, not losing a SWAC game, 2 SWAC championships, only SWAC national championship, Celebration Bowl win. I mean, and not to mention he would have had a win over Arizona over his belt if he doesn't get hurt that game. So definitely number 6 probably should be high on the list if we want to be honest. Kill Glass, like you mentioned, it's a body of work thing with him. You know what I mean? The what he was able to do for those 4 years, even like you mentioned, one of them being a very shortened season. If he would have had that full season, no telling where he would be on the record books as far as total yards and things of that nature. I know he wasn't able to win, but I'll get back to that comment in a second. But I know he wasn't able to win, but the body of work was pretty, you know what I mean, speaks for itself. Like you mentioned, Renard don't have the stats, but when you got multiple Celebration Bowl wins, you got to be high on this list. Like we said, it's not just stats. It's about wins, winning Celebration Bowls, winning national championships, winning big
FBS Pro,
games. Yeah, and everything that goes along with it. Amir Hall, I think that kind of speaks for himself, what he was able to do at that level. Probably won't be seen again for a while. Bruce Eugene should be number 1. I'll be the first one to say it. The reason Tavares Jackson was number 1 was because he, like you said, he's the only HBCU quarterback we've had drafted
in at least the last 20.
Yeah. So I was about to say since 2000. And I held that probably higher in regard than I should have. But if Bruce Eugene, what he did at Grambling probably won't be done again on the HBCU level for a while, if ever. And I'm kind of mad at myself I didn't put him number 1. But like I said, I think I held Tavares getting drafted too high in regards. Then I mean, it's very, very important, and it's he deserves recognition for it. But I don't know if it deserved to vault him all the way to number 1.
Right.
And he did have, he did put up some good numbers for that time period, and he was electrifying. The eye test was amazing, but Bruce's body of work, I don't think it can compare to what Bruce did.
Yeah. So I guess that goes to, and we've been kind of saying, where did you miss? What would you change? We already know, since Swap, Kincaid.
Them 2 for sure. I put Bruce number 1, and I might take Davius off and put Felix Harper at number 10.
Gotcha.
But I do want to say this, because Paris said Kincaid wasn't at Grambling long though. He wasn't. He was only there for 2 years, just like Shador. But he was able to win that championship in those 2 years. If Shador would have won one of those Celebration Bowls, he would have been on my list for sure, even with him only being there for 2 years.
Yeah. I know one thing that people I'm gonna bring up the PWI side of things. Cam Newton, Joe Burrow.
Mm-hmm.
On most people list those, that's 1 and 2. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Interchangeable top quarterbacks, you know what I'm saying? As far as if we did, you know what I'm saying, do this list. And neither one of them was at their respective schools for more than 2 seasons. Cam was
Yeah,
at
they
Auburn
won.
for 1.
They won though.
And they winning that national championship and in the fashion that they won it
Mm-hmm.
holds weight, you know. So that's why. So in
Man, if
regards to
Shador would
like
have won, my bad.
no, you were go ahead.
But if Shador would have won that championship this year, that would probably been one of the greatest HBCU seasons we've seen.
She says, so exactly. So the longevity doesn't matter much then. That's not true. It's I
It's
get
a
what you're saying.
combination of it. It's
It's
a combination of
things. So like, okay, for instance, we talking about if you look at this list, there are people who played 3 years, 2 years on this
4
list.
years.
And then there's people who play 4 years, 5 years on this list. It wasn't so much, it's not just about because okay, and I'm gonna go back to my food analogy. I'm gonna be the fat boy here. You know what I'm saying? Whether I microwave it or I take my time and grill it, if it's good, it's good. It don't matter.
Yeah,
That wasn't necessarily the what's called, but we can also say that hey, if this person was there longer, they could have put up more numbers. And then, you know what I'm saying, not saying that they weren't good, it's just saying that it's more of a leg to stand on.
Yeah, and it's like both of them microwaved it, but one microwaved it and threw bacon on top.
Bam.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it's a little bit different.
Yeah, so it's because I'm gonna tell you something else too. I'm gonna bring us back up, and then I'll go back to my list and tell my changes. It's a difference because speaking of microwaving, and it's funny that we're using food for this analogy. You can microwave. I know you can microwave popcorn, and it's good and it'll satisfy you or whatever. Or you can microwave that leftover steak that you had on that dinner.
That microwave meal ain't the same. Yeah,
it ain't the same. Yeah, so but now looking at my list, things I would change. Of course, I'll put Bruce Eugene at 1, and I'll slide Kia Glass to Tavares Jackson down. I'll probably move. I would probably move. Other than that, man, I don't think I can change anybody else.
Go back to my list real quick because Kincaid might go up.
Yeah. Oh, you talking about from your 6 instead of being 6?
So I might put. All right, so my list would be Bruce, Tavares. No, I'll leave him at 6. I'll leave him at 6.
Yeah. So, but yeah, so
I
think it's fair to say that I'll say I stand by my list and how I did it. I do think there's something, you know what I'm saying, room for improvement.
I stand by my list when them two names are swapped.
When they swap, yeah. I can stand by my list, but I can also admit that, you know what I'm saying, hey, I was wrong in some spots.
Oh yeah, for sure. Bruce Eugene should have been number 1. I'd be the first to admit that.
Yeah. All the people coming at us, your list is trash, it stinks, this, that, and the other. Fair. If you think so, hey,
cool. Man, it's just our opinion, bro. Like,
quick question: have you gotten your check from ESPN or Fox?
Nah, not
because we don't damn work there.
But I mean, that's the thing. Like, I understand. First of all, we didn't make this list just so people would come watch our show. First of all,
at all.
First of all, secondly, we never said that our list. We never said that our list was, concrete and that our list was, right and everybody else list. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just our opinion. And like we've both agreed and both have admitted we kind of got it wrong. You know what I'm saying? When we had time to think about it and listen to other perspectives and stuff, we admit we kind of would change some things about it. So I don't know why the animosity and the hostility over opinions. I guess that's just this day and age. But I mean, once my list was swap them two names, I stand by it. It might not be right. It might not be what you think, but that's why we do this, bro.
Yeah,
everybody got an opinion.
I say I do appreciate all the interaction. I did learn some stuff. I'll say there was some stats that I didn't know.
And
You
some
know what I'm saying?
people I didn't know
And
about, like
people I didn't know. Names will
quarterbacks at
pop up.
Tuskegee and stuff like that.
Yeah. Somebody will pop up and I'll be like, oh, you know what? I didn't even realize that.
I forgot
Or
about him.
I forgot exactly. I was like, oh, I forgot about that person. Oh, you know what I'm saying? They didn't even cross my mind. One thing I do want to say, and we can move to final thoughts on this with this one. There's a database. You can go to a database and find any quarterback stat from LSU, from Mississippi State, from Alabama, Florida, Michigan, yada yada yada. There's a database you can go to and find that. I went to that same database because anytime we debate stats, I usually go there and pull them up. Went there to find HBCU stats, non-existent. Then you start getting on the Googles because Google is free, as my man always say. And you got to go down 3 search pages, call up somebody and ask them if they got, the newspaper clipping, see if you can listen to a recording, go to YouTube just to find how many yards somebody got from a certain year. I'm not saying it's, I'm not saying, and then it's funny because I was able to find some stats one day and then I went back the next day and couldn't find them. And it's like, what's going on? So I will say, I hope that there is a way where we can find these stats or we can put these stats and amass this information in one spot so we can find all this stuff again. I do shout out to Mr. Kitchens with the
I was just about to do that.
What's it?
Quarterfied bet. Yeah, the website they have quarterfiedbet.com where they try to preserve the legacy of the black quarterback, whether it be from high school, college, professional. They give out awards each year for college and high school black quarterback, and they do what they can to try to, like you say, preserve some of the history and kind of let the next generation learn from it. And I think that'll be good for stuff like this, but not just that, but when we talk about trying to get exposure for HBCUs, one of the best ways to do it is to show the next generation who came before them. You know what I mean? And let them see that same representation. They got guys who live in their same towns, who from their same towns, who've done big things at some of these schools that they don't know about because we don't keep those names and those stories alive.
Red, Darnell King. People used to talk about, what high school you went to? Oh man, I remember, man, that dude was a dog at, blah, 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 Alabama State. He did such and such. I was like, okay. So I knew he was good. And I remember but then when I actually looked at the numbers, I was like, okay.
Yeah, that's like my daughter's cousin, Brandon Landers, quarterback to Grambling. You know what I mean? Like he wasn't Bruce Eugene, obviously. You know what I mean? But he came after Bruce. But even though he might not be Bruce, just the stories of him coming from, the high school he came from, and you know what I'm saying, things of that nature. Like my kids know who he is, obviously,
right.
You know what I mean? But they friends don't know who he is, you know what I'm saying, and things of that nature. So it's just we could do a better, all of us could do a better job of, you know what I'm saying, keeping these guys' names and keeping these guys' legacies alive.
Yeah. Man, appreciate you, Sam Smith. He put up there, he said, hey, the list started a discussion, some civil, some not, but it did educate some folks on great HBCU QBs. Appreciate y'all putting it out. Hey, honestly, that's what we want to do. We did on the other side, we did the top 10 list for since 2000 of all the as Dr. Cavill say, historically white colleges in universities. But we realized we was talking about it. It was like nobody has done an HBCU list for this. And the same thing. So it's like, why not? So that's what kind of the idea came from. And it was just we definitely had to do it, man, for because it just didn't feel right to do one over there and not do one over here. So
but yeah, that's like you said, Sam. We just trying to get conversation started. Like we ain't trying to get engagement necessarily for our content, our show, and nothing like that. we want engagement between the fans. You know what I'm saying? And to bring some of these names up that we haven't heard in 20 years and kind of, bring some of these stories back and get the discussion back and kind of revive, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it's not football season right now. You know what I mean? So we were just trying to do our part to highlight some of the people. Since we're not talking about nothing current at the moment, let's highlight some of the people who came before and paved the way and kind of, keep their legacies alive. And what we didn't mean to, cause no ruckus and have people out here calling hands or nothing like that behind quarterbacks who got left off the list. You know what I mean? But it's all fun and games, really, bro. But we're just glad that we was able to kind of shine a light on some people, educate some people, and kind of ourselves included,
definitely, big
and kind of get the conversation back on these great players.
Yeah, so definitely do appreciate everybody. I'll say it was fun because lessons learned from this. It was I enjoyed it to an extent.
Lessons learned, was not double check your list before you send it.
That too. I'm finna read. I told y'all my dad and my mom were both petty. Another thing I would do, Sam Smith cover years, Doc cover years. I'm gonna block everybody from Jackson State before I put out a list again. And then I'm just playing, man. It did. I enjoyed it, man. Y'all do think that all y'all quarterbacks should be on this list. I'm not doing that. I'm not putting every quarterback you had on this list. Jackson State. Y'all be like, what about Pookie McKinnon?
Before y'all ask, no, we not doing the running back list. We seen how y'all acted over this. No, we not going to no. We're not doing no other position.
We might have to do that next year.
No,
I'm gonna tell you what.
On that one.
No, so I'm gonna tell you what. What we probably should have done 2000, 2010, and then do 2011 through 2020.
That would have probably been better, and it probably would have kept some of the commotion down.
Hey, Doc said, "Don't hate." No, y'all don't hate. Stop hating. Y'all been listen. I will get people hit me up. This a real list. Let me show you what a real list look like. Oh, okay, all right.
Hey, I ain't even mad at that, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, go ahead and pop your list. Yeah, go ahead. Just don't be mad with people in your comments telling you that your list trash.
That's the first thing that happened. First one, I'm gonna say, you know what? Lesson learned. I'm gonna make since 2000, or next time we do a list, I'm gonna
make that bigger.
Man, how many? If y'all somebody else send me a message, Steve McNair ain't on here. No, he ain't on there. No, he ain't on there. Rest in peace, Steve. That man,
yeah, bro. You gonna have to next time. You're gonna have to put that in bold.
I'm gonna have to put
italicized.
I'm gonna have to do something. I'm gonna have to put flashing lights around. That was the first thing. You ain't got Steve McNair on here.
I got a DM, bro. Somebody was like Steve McNair, Shaq Harris, Doug Williams, and they started naming names, and I was like, man, none of these dudes play at 2000. It was like, oh my.
Oh, Willie Toten. So you ain't gonna put Toten on there?
Dude was like,
you gonna put?
Oh my bad. It was like, oh my bad. Your list still trash though.
Yeah, hey, no. Somebody said today. Dude said Steve McNair, and I wrote since 2000, and he said, I hate to be that guy, but I caught my mistake before you caught it. I'm like, I don't care. It would have been easier, and he screenshot it. It would have been easier for you to delete your comment, so nobody know you wrong, than for you to screenshot that you was wrong, and put it up there and tell me that you was wrong before you knew you was wrong before.
I just want to say no disrespect to any fan base. If you feel like one of your players was slighted, it wasn't intentional. I'm not just speaking to Jackson State.
No, I'm not just speaking to Jackson State. From now on, if they ask, yes, I intentionally slighted your player. So just because
that dude right there did. I'm
gonna tell you the funniest part about it though. I kept saying, "Hey, we'll explain tomorrow," and it was just like, "You did it because of this." You know what I'm saying? You did it because of this. No, it had nothing to do with that.
That's why I ain't say nothing about me having Davis and Devontae.
I tried to. So Josh from HBCU Nightly. I told him, I was like, man, hey, listen, don't say nothing. I said, hey, we were supposed to only do what you call it. Ant went rogue on me. You know what I'm saying? I said, but you know what I'm saying? Shh, I just want to see all the chaos. First thing Josh do, hey, I talked to my brother Pooh, and
get the Ezel on you.
Hey, he said it was an accident.
He get the Ezel on you.
And then I was like, bruh, he was like, man, and this was his reason. I said, bruh, I said, you weren't supposed to say that. He said, man, the Lakers got swept. I'm telling it all.
But nah, that's on me. I didn't realize you weren't trying to go active.
Oh, no, it was all good, man.
But
I thought it was good that you threw him on there because I honestly, like, let me ask that's where we can go next.
All right.
If you could add, you know what I'm saying, Shador and Davis, we saw where you put Davis at 10.
Mm-hmm.
What would you put Shador?
At 11. I'm just saying, like, he can't be over Davis when Davis got the celebration bowl.
That's true.
You see what I'm saying? Like,
people gonna say no. People gonna say numbers.
Stats. It's not just stats.
Yeah, that's true. But the one thing about that, their stats aren't that far off, if I'm not mistaken.
All right, so if it's just stats, right? Then on the historically white side, how come nobody say Case Keenum? How come nobody say Timmy Chain? They got all the stats.
Man, hold up, I got one better for you. I know. Ooh, if it's just stats, why don't nobody ever say, "Oh, LeBron is now GOAT"? He could have been GOAT a couple years ago because he got more points than Jordan.
It's not just stats, bro.
And matter of fact, I gotta send you the clip. Jordan talked about that. He said with the GOAT thing, he said it's not fair to do that. He said people like to bring up my 6 rings. He said Bill Russell got 11. Is he better than me? And then he said somebody else. He said, are they better than me? He said, I can't say that.
Some of them things.
He said, I can't say. He said, we didn't play against each other. He said, now the impact you had on your air, that's different. So
yeah, and like I said, Shador had 7,000 some yards, 70 some touchdowns. Great. Can't argue with it. You know what I'm saying? I can't. But Davis got more yards. Totality of his career, not just 2 years. Totality of his career, he got more yards and a national championship.
Yeah. I will say it was good to see Bruce Eugene and Devontae Kincaid hit us. You know, they ain't hit us up, but they kind of, you know what I'm saying,
Devontae Kincaid started laughing at me, man. I'm sorry, bro. You should have not been 10. I'm sorry. Blame, I can't tell you what, but blame my glaucoma medication. I'll just say that.
Maybe they can be a sponsor one day.
Hey, if they can give me some free product, I'll say whatever they want me to say about it.
I had a hat on like the Statue of Liberty crown.
And I had that torch lit in my hand. You feel me?
Oh man. But yeah, man. I like I said, truly enjoy this. We're gonna we have to do one for the watch this. Do one for the top centers in HBCU history. Boy, I bet everybody be ye name Nickelback Johnson.
No, we're not. The only other one I would even consider doing would be coaches.
I do want to do that.
Now, if we was, let me say this about Shador. If we was doing a list of the top 10 like skilled, like strictly off their skill and talent level, he might be number 1. Straight up. Like, I ain't even finna lie to you. He probably would be number 1, strictly off skill level and talent. But if we going off body of work and legacy and stuff, you know, I can't do it.
Yeah.
But the boy, I can't take nothing from the boy. The boy talented.
Yeah, he good. He very good. I do think it's funny that some of the reasons is how we pick and choose fights. Some of the reasons why, like, we like Cam Smith and stuff like that, or we'll say something, people were, saying, like, well, he ain't really play. Saying that was CIAA. It was lower competition. He didn't play against the same
He had a
competitors.
lot of talent around him.
Yeah, he had a lot of talent around him. It's
But
just
see,
like,
that's the thing. Like, because somebody said he have a couple 1,000-yard receivers. I mean, don't nobody say that about a kid Glass. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm not knocking either one of them. I'm just saying, like, we could use these excuses or reasons or whatever you want to call them for a couple different people.
yeah.
Want to talk about the talent around them and stuff like that? A lot of these guys played on really talented teams. A lot of them.
Big facts. Big facts. We're gonna get I'm looking at the SWAC. I'm trying to get ready for the we talk about this baseball, the SWAC tournament recap.
Let's do it.
We got football. We still got some football to talk about, but I was
do.
pulling up the scores.
What we got football wise?
Hey, so UDFAs, man. A lot of players to sign. Shout out Aubrey Miller.
Money.
Aubrey Miller signs his UDFA with the Dolphins. 3 years, 2.7, 110 guaranteed, 110,000 of them things. Shaq Davis,
yes,
and
sir.
and Mark Evans with the
yes,
Saints.
Sir.
Both got 3 years, 2.7 mil. Shaq Davis,
both of them have a good chance to make the roster too.
Oh yeah, big yes. Shaq Davis 216 guaranteed. Mark Evans 241 guaranteed.
I like it.
Jadakiss Bonds, who originally was supposed to be, or not supposed to be, who originally was said to have signed with the Niners.
Might have landed in a better situation, huh?
Better situation. A lot of people said this is where he should have went anyway. Green Bay, 3 years, 3.7 mil.
Man, they really. So I was talking Tuesday.
I don't have his guaranteed money, but yeah.
Yeah, I was talking Tuesday with a guy who covers the Saints, and I specifically asked him about Mark Evans and Shaq Davis,
right,
and the correlation between their contracts and the guaranteed money in their contracts and their chances of making the roster. And you can't always look at it, obviously, because there's outliers and exceptions to every rule. But generally, for the Saints organizations specifically, the more money that they put in and guaranteed is the higher chance you have to make the roster. And you're looking at two positions that are kind of positions of need for the Saints. So it looks good for those two guys. And their forecast. Aubrey Miller, we know he's a stud. We know he should have been drafted. So I don't really have any questions about him making the roster in Miami. And Jadakiss, I think, went to a good situation. If you look at the Green Bay Packers, I mean, name me a receiver on their roster right now. I mean, you got the Christian Watson boy from North Dakota State. Other than that, Romeo Dobbs, like they lost Lazard. They lost a lot of guys when Rodgers left. So he's going to a situation where I think he has a chance to not only make the roster, but compete for significant playing time if he can. There's not really an established vet group on that team. It's a bunch of young guys. So I think he can come in and make a name for himself. He has the skill set. He has the size to really make some plays at that level. It'll all depend on what Jordan Love can do. But I think he went to a better situation than San Francisco, who has those weapons in front of them. Yeah. Or who would have been in front of him.
Yeah. Last on this list, Keenan Isaac from Alabama State. He signed with the Bucks, 3 years, 2.7.
Not a bad deal there neither. Like Doc said, our boys getting that money.
Should have been drafted in the first place, but understandable. So, that was so perfect. I'm gonna tell you who I don't have it on here. We talked about it a little bit. With the XFL doing their own draft, rookie draft and stuff.
Yep.
I look forward to seeing who gets picked up by, HBCU wise, who gets picked up.
I think we'll see a lot.
I do too. I think we'll see a lot of guys get picked up.
And we've already seen the XFL put a lot of guys into the league.
That's true.
From this season. So even though these HBCU guys might not have got their name called or even got a UDFA opportunity, some of them just need a chance to show what they can do on a little bit bigger stage and that XFL could be the stage for him. And I
Yeah.
know we got some right now in the USFL too, so good luck to them.
Yeah, USFL is going. That's another one. When they did their draft, we saw I think 12 HBCU guys drafted. And it was some names that ended up getting pulled to the NFL with the UDFAs as well. So that was interesting. But hey, it happened. But man, let's talk about this SWAC baseball tournament, man. This thing open with with some. It's been some great games. I just saw our good friend Albie score. You know what I'm saying? The voice himself, Mr. Jamie Walker, said that the SWAC moving the baseball tournament to Atlanta probably was the most genius thing that they could have done.
Yeah.
So yesterday,
playing it in another school's park though.
Yeah. Where are they playing it at?
Georgia Tech.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I'm going back. I'm trying to go to the first games because I hate that they don't have. Oh, that's a softball tournament. That's not what I'm looking for. Boom, 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 boom. That's softball. All right, boom. So that's all right. Oh, nope, that's not it either. Here we go. All right, here we go. Looks like looking at some of the scores that they have listed on their Twitter page. This was from yesterday. Alabama State beat Prairie View 11-1. Southern beat Bethune 4-2. FAMU beat Texas Southern 9-1. Grambling beat Jackson State 8-7. Then we move on, looks like, to today. Prairie View moves on in the loser bracket. They beat Texas Southern 9-6. This one started getting close. Bethune edged out, Omar and them boys at Jackson State 12-11.
That was a good game.
And then Alabama State squeaks by FAMU 9-8.
Yep. And Southern and Grambling playing right now. So it's been some good games. Real good games. So appreciate you, Chuck. Chuck put in here. Celtics beat the Heat 110-97. So Heat gotta win. If Heat don't win tomorrow, the next game. Could we see the first 3-0 come back? Hey, it's the pressure gonna start mounting soon.
Yeah.
If they don't, especially considering the injuries, Gabe Vincent injury. And plus, if you look at it, the Celtics defense is starting to play a little bit better. Jimmy Buckets ain't getting he's starting to have to work a lot harder. Bam was not great tonight. And then, Duncan Robinson was they leading scorer in the first half, and you can't rely on that. So if they don't close them out, and sick in Miami, it's a wrap, I think.
Yeah, I agree. Completely agree. Sam Smith said, would be cool to see a top 10 all-time head coaching football list for HBCUs. He says Archie Cooley, W.C. Gordon, Marino Kasem would be a good discussion. It's a name he ain't put on there.
You damn right it's a name he ain't put on there. You damn right it's a name he ain't put on there.
Pete Richardson. I ain't see Pete Richardson's name on there. Why Pete? I'm just playing.
I was talking about Sam Washington. I'm trying to figure out why Far Ride Broadway ain't on the list,
Nah, man. But for real though, man, if we did this list, if we did a list like this, and Eddie Robinson Jr., no, I'm just playing, Eddie Robinson Sr., Eddie G. Robinson, name ain't on there. You talking about If it ain't on, I'm sorry. If it ain't on there, that's boy. That'll shut the.
If it ain't on there, we need to arrest them who made that list.
Listen, if that name is at any spot, Lord, and if it's a 1 and it's a period and his name ain't next to it,
yeah. If it's a 1B, you know what I'm saying, we got problems.
Oh man, listen, we would get ran up off the internets. It'll be the end.
You ain't gotta worry about me worrying about no grambling bias on that one.
Yes, they might ran you out the city, out the state.
Boy, I had to move to Alaska somewhere.
Put you in witness protection. I don't want to go. I'm sorry, Martin. I ain't mean to lie to you. I didn't want to go to Arizona. J-Dot said, I know who better not be on that list.
Who better not be on that list?
Hold on.
Who better not be on that list?
Hold on. Let's see, because I know some names.
Let me sip my tea, literally.
Hold on. Let me see, because I think I still got it. And if I got it, I can play it.
Boy, you petty. You petty for real. Who better not be on that list?
I'm waiting for. I think I know who she's talking about. Who shouldn't be on that list? Is that who you talk about? I'm just wondering.
Oh, for real.
Well, good would be. Yeah, I definitely.
Hey, man. Hey, I appreciate all y'all for tuning in, man.
Yeah, we can go ahead and get ready to get up off here, man. Man, appreciate y'all for tuning in.
Who you got winning the sweat?
And what?
Baseball, man.
Baseball, Alabama State.
Man, going on somewhere, bro.
Exit
81. Exit 81.
Grambling?
Yeah, it's the battle of the 1 seeds.
Give me hey, you gonna come get your nephew, man.
Hey, man, that man a champ. Oh, he ain't a champion yet.
Come get your nephew, man. He already snuck. He was like, hey, can I sleep in the room with you? That was Tuesday. He didn't been here ever since. Eviction notice coming.
They tell him.
Put criteria that the coach had to coach.
I mean, you ain't got to put that on. You can just put.
Huh? I did tell. I told him about your baseball. Okay. They said that never mind.
No, we can't do 3 though. We gotta at least wait till Hugh get 3.
That's true.
That might gotta be on the list.
Yeah, Hugh gonna be on the list.
We gotta wait for Eddie Robinson to get a couple more years on it.
Yeah. Eddie Rob.
I know the Ascot better be on that list.
Can I finish my show?
That man said 3.5 years.
Y'all, I thought we was petty. Y'all,
real though. You know what you want to stir up. You want to be petty and stir up some really be instigators.
Oh, you know I'm with this stuff.
I bet our next list ain't gonna be the next coaches. It ain't gonna be top 10 coaches. Coming soon. Pooh Bear presents the top 10 HBCU bands.
Oh, boy, y'all gonna be mad, boy. No, hey, I'm gonna tell you. Hey, no, I'm gonna tell you the list. I was looking at it today with these surveys.
Jen
with the dropping the bomb. Jen say the criteria the coach gotta love HBCUs. Ooh.
So no Airy, gotcha.
Yeah, bang heads coming. Hey, but
okay, Doc, I want to see your list, Doc. I'm gonna be waiting. I'm gonna hold you to it, Doc. I want to see that list.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. But no, this list with the
I know Fonz work.
That's fine. Top HBCU programs.
Oh yeah, okay. All right. Serious moment. So we do have a list coming. It is not compiled by us.
It is literally an
It is,
anonymous.
yes, it's an anonymous survey that we sent out to a bunch of people who we feel like are credible,
At, at least
sources.
I at least thought some people was credible until we got a response back. Who is your top
Oh
5?
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? And
top
they
five
put Jackson
programs.
State in
Somebody
all
said
5.
Jackson State 5 times. Yeah, but anyway, we sent out a survey to the people we thought were credible HBCU historians, reporters, HBCU enthusiasts, and a whole bunch of other different things. That we felt like were credible, and we asked them who are the top 5 HBCU programs of all time. Not at this current moment, of all time.
Mhm.
And we don't have a vote.
Yeah.
We are not answering it. We are strictly compiling their answers and presenting their answers to you.
Now we did put in there some criteria. I think it was like this includes facilities, coaching history, winning. I mean football on on field record, tradition, all that.
Fan base, and I'm saying, things of that nature. And it's not, they got the most social media following. You know what I mean? There's nothing along those kind of lines. We're trying to strictly talk about, facilities, resources, tradition, the success that they've had, things of that nature.
Who got the most Amazon Prime episodes? Ain't none of that. We don't care about that. So, what?
You petty boy.
They started with me first.
Who more petty?
They started with me first. I'm gonna do another list. Fan bases that get on my nerves the most. Yeah.
Hey, so on the PWI side, there's a Twitter account who did a poll or his list, I guess, of the most sensitive fan bases and the least sensitive fan bases. Have you seen this?
Yeah.
Dude named Big Game Boomer put that out. Yeah. All right. I want to do one, but instead of us compiling the list,
they're gonna let everybody else compile.
We let everybody else tell us. Nah, just drop it on Twitter and just put a tweet out. Who's the most sensitive HBCU fan base? And let them tell us who they think it is.
I like it. I'm with the stuff. So I am with the stuff.
And me and Mike with an interesting topic or statement.
Yeah, I saw that. Miak says Jackson State, South Carolina State, Southern, Grambling, Alcorn probably have.
Alcorn is what got me.
Probably have the top 5 football fans. Okay.
Only one in the MEAC? Only one? No FAMU?
They ain't in the MEAC.
I mean, I know. I'm just saying, like those are my first two thoughts.
I know, I'm messing. But yeah, man. We go ahead and get up out of here. I do want to say because it popped up. I do want to say shout out to Doc, man. Congratulations on your 1-year anniversary of your show, man.
I thought you were talking to me. My bad.
Oh, my bad. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to his 1-year anniversary. I said, congratulations on your 1-year wedding anniversary. What we didn't do. That's why we didn't do a show. Wasn't that Monday, right?
That was Monday, yeah. Monday night. Yeah, appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. Me and the wife, she ain't killed me yet. You know, man, I made it through 1 year without her strangling me.
It's coming.
So
it's coming.
Yeah, over under 3.5 years. You know what I mean? Like,
hey, I'm just saying, you got to watch out after you hit 10.
Take the under.
After you hit 10, though, they get half the money. Oh no, that's divorce. My bad. That's divorce. Yeah, they get all the money before the end. So trust me, man, I be dodging like a ninja.
Well, I ain't at the point yet where I put my wife as the beneficiary on life insurance shit.
Oh,
like it's still my kids as of now. So I'm trying to stall on just so like I feel like she ain't gonna kill me. Dang, where does she come from?
Hey, he said he hey, she said, yeah, fix that.
Hey.
He said, what he had said.
Hey, we gotta go, bro. We
hey,
gotta go.
to my sister-in-law, he said,
We
he
gotta
love
go.
you.
We gotta
don't-
go.
He said you the best thing ever happened to him. He said
We
happy
gotta
anniversary
go.
too. So
We gotta. Where she come
Woo.
from? We gotta go. She was just asleep. We gotta go, bro. We gotta go.
all right, man. We'll be back on Monday, man. Like that. We out. This show was presented by betonline.ag.
Bring me my money.